Hey there everybody, welcome back. It's Retro Knight. Surrender now or prepare to fight. Welcome back guys, and I am so sorry I've been gone, so let's jump right into the action. We are back in our VGC. This is going to be our first round. Let's go ahead and get started. We're up against Felix the Cat. Let's see if we got some magic bags of tricks. Well, he's got some magic bags of tricks in the form of Tornadus and Kyogre. Tailwind Water Spout is a thing, and I've got to bring checks to it. I also see he sets up the Trick Room and also checks for Fake Out with Farigiraf. Regieleki's really nice for speed control with Electro Web. He's got the Ursaluna, which is definitely going to be the normal terrestrialization, and one of the Urshifus. I'm bringing Lunala, Tinglu, Dewgong, and of course, Samus Aran, our Armarouge. Guys, what do you guys think about Dewgong? What have you thought about it before? Have you thought it was like a really good Pokemon? Have you thought it was kind of underwhelming? And do you feel like it could have been better in some kind of way? But let's go ahead and find out today how it went down with Felix that has an Iono icon. And make sure you stay tuned after this because we've got part 2 of this battle series coming up right after that. So here we are. He is leading off with his Trick Room shenanigans. I know he's going to want a Trick Room, but I do have Wide Guard. Now that's going to force the Ursaluna Blood Moon into his Blood Moon attack, which will do a significant amount of damage to Lunala. Now, when I first crafted this team, I totally forgot about Ursaluna Blood Moon's ability for Blood Moon to always hit even Ghost types. So that is very, very unfortunate. I'm thinking here to go ahead and trade Lunala out, depending on what he wants to do with the Ursaluna. Probably go straight away for a Blood Moon. Whatever he wants to go for, it's going to be a special attack, and I want to lower all of that special attack with the Vessel of Ruin special ability with Tinglu. Guys, Tinglu has always been one of my favorites. It doesn't do hardly anything at all, and we hit the Horn Drill! Dewgong drills it home, baby! How's that for one of the most retro, underutilized Pokemon in all of time? 20-something years to become somewhat relevant. Guys, this is going to be the final video of the Dewgong team. I do apologize. I'm getting a bit stale of it. I want to also bring some new teams for Regulation G. It's been fun while it's been there, and it has been really cool to cover a team that's been so high on the VGC ladder with a Dewgong and a Gloom, but it's definitely time for some innovation. So stay tuned for that. I also want to talk to you guys slightly about an idea that I have. So, I'm thinking VGC, of course, is going to be mainly on the channel as the main thing. But I do want to let you know that our newest competition after this one is actually singles best of 3. So you only get to bring 3 Pokemon to the battle. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's got some really cool, underrated Pokemon and a really cool team strategy. And it's ranked, so I think you guys will enjoy it just the same. So the ranked series we'll do probably 3 times a week. And then I'm thinking kind of a wild card once every week. And then I'm also thinking about going back and picking up a Let's Play, but I think I'm going to do a newer one and go backwards. I don't think I'm going to start at the beginning and go forward. I think I'm going to start something that's newer, that's more interesting to watch, and then go backwards. So I think I'm actually going to pick up on my Violet Let's Play, I do believe, and then go backwards toward the older generations. I think you guys will enjoy that a lot more. At some point, I also am bringing Pokemon Xenoverse back, but I'll talk about that in a later video. So anyways, we get knocked out here, and that's fine. We're going to bring in Armarouge. This is a free chance into Armarouge, and I'm not too worried about this, to be honest, because I'm going to Aqua Jet into my Armarouge, because priority only helps if they're attacking Farigiraf. It doesn't prevent my abilities, my priority attacks for going through on my own Pokemon. So that's really, really important. I decided because Dewgong drilled it home for me really well the first time, I thought I would go for it again. But the Aqua Jet is so important here simply because I really don't want him to go for the Surging Strikes. Luckily, I get the Quick Claw off right off the bat, and that's going to help me as I go for the Endure here. I'm thinking he probably... Oh, it is not... I apologize. I'm not even looking at the Urshifu while I'm saying that. This is the Dark Urshifu, which is what eluded me into doing this instead. That means I'm going to be able to live a Wicked Blow from full health. And I can just go for the Endure. So I'm going to get my weakness policy off. And even if he goes for Wicked Blow, I won't die. And Dazzling Gleam's also not going to kill me. I'm going to live this turn no matter what you decide to go for. he decides to close combat into the Dewgong. He got tired, and he was very, very frustrated of it horn drilling his wind condition, his Ursaluna Blood Moon, into the ground. And he's going to knock it out. So Armarouge is all set with the weakness policy, and we still have our Lunala with our Power Herb. So we are sitting really, really nice. Normally, I would be pretty afraid of Urshifu, but there's two things here. The Trick Room is up, and Lunala outspeeds Urshifu in Trick Room, so I can knock it out with a Moon Blast. But I can also go for a Heat Wave to additionally make sure that we knock out the Urshifu, because that's going to be really important. I'm not near as worried about the Farigiraf. I decided to Terrasilize into normal Terrasalization here, and I could just go for Stored Power, but it being Dark type, I want to go for the Heat Wave instead. I'll be slower because I got that speed boost under Trick Room, which makes Urshifu faster, but Urshifu can go down to 1 Moon Blast as long as it's not Focus Sash. So that's really, really nice. I decided to go ahead and Metamorphose or Terrasilize into my normal Terrasalization, so that I'll be able to take these attacks oncoming way better, like this Wicked Blow, which never ends up happening because this thing is not Focus Sash. It does not pass go. It does not collect $200. It goes down. There we go. So now the Heat Wave is actually going to come through, and that boosted Heat Wave does not knock the Farigiraf out, but that's fine. He is a berry. Looks like a citrus berry to recover some HP. Not quite at half. I know Lunala can definitely knock it out from this range, but we still have our Meteor Beam that we want to attend to as he brings in the Kyogre. And remember how I was saying he has a lot of tricks in that magic bag? I've got a few of my own. This thing looks like Helping Hand, Water Spout. If I was to look up in the stars in the cosmos, I see the Water Spout. I see the Helping Hand. Wide Guard protects against all of that. And let me tell you something about Stored Power Armarouge. He doesn't care if you go for Water Spout. I have 6 boosts with that special attack, max special attack, and I also have the weakness policy. I'm going to eviscerate the Kyogre from the game. Stored Power is so good. I decide to endure the first turn just on the in case. Try to see if he was going to go for something else. Maybe go for like one single attack and single out my Armarouge. But he decided not to do that. Now, if he singled out Armarouge and knocked it out, I could have had the Endure, and I would have been good. I wanted to see if he was going to set up the Trick Room and go for Water Spout. That's really the play that I was looking for, because then I could just Wide Guard again. Because a lot of Kyogre, while they run the Water Spout, they also tend to run a single attack. Now, if they were to single attack Lunala under Wide Guard, they would knock out Lunala, but I would knock out Kyogre with that Stored Power, as you're going to see here. That Kyogre is really fast because under Trick Room, even with a speed boost, I actually outspeed him under Trick Room, so that tells me that that Kyogre is really, really fast. Possibly even Choice Scarfed, which is a great way to run Kyogre, don't get me wrong. But in this case scenario of only not having a single targeting attack, they are left with only the Farigiraf, and I have Stored Power, and I have Lunala, which I can boost and attack over. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's jump into Game 2, and I'll see you guys in the next part of the series. Let's head into Game 2. Thanks, guys. Welcome back, everybody. It's Retro Knight. Surrender now or prepare to fight. We are back with our second episode or second battle in our Dewgong Drills at Home. And let's go ahead and jump into it. He's got a pretty threatening team with Trick Room, Glasteria. He's still got the Ursaluna, the Blood Moon Ursaluna, the Urshifu, the Ogerpon Wellspring, and Fluttermane. I'm going to talk about what we're going to go into to get things started. He has got a very, very scary, threatening team that we've definitely got to watch out for. I think setting up Trick Room onto Trick Room is going to be really important so that we can just nullify that advantage right off the bat. And then I think also leading with our Assault Vest Tinglu to deal with the Ursaluna is very, very important. Then if he has the Glasteria in the back, I kind of want to bring Dewgong plus Samus Aran. I might actually go into Dragon type just to deal with Ogerpon a bit better. And then finally, I will bring Star Tropics, just in case that he is going to bring the Fluttermane in the back. And, of course, we can beat that out if we need to. So let's jump into it and see how it went down. Alright, so he's leading with two great friends, and what is better than two great friends? I'm leading off with Indeedee and Ting-Lu here. Like I said, I love Ting-Lu, it's fantastic. We're going to go ahead and get the Psychic Surge set up as the battlefield is going to get weird with the Vessel of Ruin to lower all those special attacks that I really don't care about. Now, this time I correctly identified that this is the Dark Urshifu, and that being said, I could just go Fairy Dazzling Gleam and hit both of them and also super affect the Urshifu. I'm pretty sure he's not going to want to swap out. I haven't really seen a lot of Fairy terrestrialized Indeedees. They don't normally do it because it just kind of offsets the whole thing. Now, looking at what I want to do here, I decide to try to Fissure the Indeedee. There's no point to Fissure Urshifu because it's probably going to either swap out or the Indeedee's probably going to go for Follow Me. So I take that opportunity to go ahead and terrestrialize into the Fairy type. I would like to really knock this thing out. A lot of these things carry the Focus Sash, which is why I want to go for the Fissure. However, that's not the case here, and I just want to go for Fissure onto the Indeedee, considering he probably wants to just go for the Wicked Blow into the Indeedee slot. But he surprises me going for a Helping Hand boosted close combat right off the bat. And that definitely changes my plans a little bit because of that Fissure. By the way, guys, if you're noticing that this is not matching up, I'm sorry. There was an audio corruption. Somehow in OBS it's not recording everything that it's supposed to. Corey's really good at that. I, however, am not. But I needed to redo the commentary for it, and I am so sorry about that. It's fine. So, Indeedee is going to get the Fairy Terrestrialization as I go ahead and click Dazzling Gleam on both of the opposing Mons. And, you know, Dewgong did so good the first run, I'm just going to go ahead and try to go for the Horn Drill again. We do get the Quick Claw proc. Horn Drill, come on! Smash it into oblivion, whatever he swaps that slot into, which happens to be another great friend. God, is this entire team nothing but great friends? This would be so huge to Horn Drill and knock this thing out in one hit, the Ice Rider Calyrex. However, well, I guess he predicted me to target the Urshifu. However, unfortunately, Horn Drill, Dewgong is not going to drill his way home. He is going to miss as we go for the Dazzling Gleam, which does not do hardly anything at all to the Ice Rider Calyrex, just because it's probably AV, or just really strong in general. I'm not sure how these things like to set up. Usually weakness policy, but I guess in a way he could also be Assault Vest. I'm looking for an opportunity here to most likely swap in Lunala. He does swap out the Urshifu Dark, which I know he's protected in the back since I do have that Fairy Dazzling Gleam, as he swaps his own Indeedee back into the fray. Which, I mean, the Psychic Terrain is already up, so I'm not really sure what that play is going to be. As I go out into Lunala, I want to see what this Icicle Spear is all about to see, excuse me, how much damage it's going to do. I did go for the Imprison on the oncoming Indeedee so that he couldn't set up the Trick Room, and so that I would guarantee to be faster, which is phenomenal because Glasteria, or excuse me, Ice Rider Calyrex, without speed is not near as threatening, and it also opts me a chance to go for my Meteor Beam setup and get set up that way. I know that is a thing, and Lunala is in the back. However, I decide to preserve my own Indeedee as well, because newsflash, that Urshifu is a huge problem for my team. So much so that I have to get rid of my own Indeedee to actually come back in and go into the proper thing. The sound is fine, but it has all the audio, like the effects in the game, and it's way too loud, and I couldn't fix it. It's like embedded to the video clip. However, now the Glasteria decides to terrestrialize it to the Water typing, the most defensive typing he can come up with, and that's definitely the way to go, as the Indeedee goes for Helping Hand. So Icicle, not Spear, Crash, Glacial Lance. Lord, I just did a video on that. Glacial Lance is going to come through here. It's not going to do hardly anything to Dewgong. I go for the Meteor Beam, Power Herb boosted. It does go to the Indeedee. It does very little damage. I targeted the Indeedee thinking he was just going to go for Follow Me anyway. And it worked out because there was a Protect on the Ice Rider Calyrex. The Glacial Lance doesn't even do half to Lunala. It does absolutely nothing to Dewgong. Once again, I want to give the opportunity to Dewgong to drill it home. If he's going to go for Helping Hand Glacial Lance, then I have the same strategy set up that I went for in the first match versus the Kyogre, going for a wide guard to prevent that damage with the Glacial Lance. Unfortunately, we don't drill at home. We don't get the horn drill. That's the second one we miss. And that's really the reason I'm kind of deciding to kind of stray away from this team. Wide guard teeter dance with Gloom is really cool. It's got a lot of really neat application. It is cool to see that a team with Gloom and Dewgong was piloted to that high of a level with VGC. However, I'm not that player, and I'm not as good as that player of those intricacies of those strategies. I personally felt the Dewgong into the Armor Rouge was better. And this team could be better just by putting an Urshifu with Assault Vest on the spot that Dewgong is. It still gets Aqua Jet, still can proc the weakness policy of the Armor Rouge with the Trick Room. You can still keep Lunala and then just trade out the two Mons being Dewgong and Gloom. You trade out the Dewgong for something and probably trade out the Gloom for something else, and you would be good to go. You'd have a really, really strong team from there. Not 100% sure what you want to swap into this. Incineroar seems like a good idea, but Incineroar is just good in general. For multiple reasons, it does so many team applications. I was thinking Aqua Jet would knock this thing out. However, it lives on what must be abysmal 0 HP. And, of course, the Follow Me brings the Moongeist Beam toward the Indeedee and not onto the Calyrex Ice Rider, which is what I wanted to attack. Now, I am hoping and praying that we can knock this thing out with a boosted Moongeist Beam. And what bothers me here is the Aqua Jet is definitely enough to take this thing out now that the Psychic Terrain is down, and Aqua Jet finishes off the Indeedee. So hopefully the Moongeist Beam does enough to Glasteria. Preventing that Trick Room might really come in hand here. Let's do it. The power of the moon. Let's use it all. Let's absorb the moon and blast it. And it does not kill. So that tells me one more was needed on that turn with the Follow Me that redirected that attack to that normal type Indeedee, since Moongeist Beam was dark typing. And now the Chilling Neigh is the boost that he needs, because now he's got regular attacks he can go for against the Dewgong. However, he still has Urshifu and Glasteria, so now I just need to weaken this thing down to the point that I can knock it out. Indeedee, unfortunately now I no longer have the ability to negate the Glacial Lance, and he also has close combat with the Urshifu, which is another problem, and it is definitely faster than Dewgong. Now, I could Follow Me into the close combat, but that would require a Horn Drill to hit, and then we would hit with 2 Aqua Jets, and if that was enough to take it out with the Aqua Jets, then the Dazzling Gleam would be able to wipe out the Urshifu. Let's see if we've got enough here. Come on, Dewgong, you've done so well. Those Aqua Jets were crucial. You can't go for them now. The close combat comes through, weakening this thing. That means the Dazzling Gleam will eviscerate the Urshifu now that it is weakened, and now we are Fairy Terrestrialization type with that Stab Dazzling Gleam. So the Dazzling Gleam comes through, and we get to knock out the Urshifu, and that is great. That means he's not holding an Assault Vest, and we are left to fight the Glasteria. I want to keep calling this thing Glasteria. He is Focus Sash, and that is why I really, really like the Aqua Jet here. However, with that Psychic Terrain up, it automatically sets it, and it is a problem. And unfortunately for me, I can't take 2 attacks from this thing. We take the Wicked Blow phenomenally. However, it is to the point after that Wicked Blow that we are not able to take the Glacial Lance. And that is a really good game. Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you guys for being supportive. We're going for a boosted Dazzling Gleam. Please be enough! Nope, it is not enough. Lives on a sliver, and a Glacial Lance unfortunately knocks us out from the range that we're at. God, that was way too close. Way too many twists and turns. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I want to run down the last thing that I talked about really quickly for those of you that missed it in the first part. I'm going to be alternating how I'm doing videos. I'm going to do VGC 2 to 3 days a week. I'm going to do 1 wild card. That's 4. And then the other 3 days, I'm going to have to come up with something like a Let's Play or 1 to 2 retro Pokemon battles to fill out the rest of the schedule. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have been incredibly supportive over the health and the job issues and things oncoming. I've got an interview today. Wish me luck. Cross your fingers and give me some support. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. See you and peace out.